So I mentioned earlier in the, I hinted at earlier in the review for this that there was another mafia film that I believe we've all seen that was probably the biggest movie of the year. I don't know if it got the most of the box office.
It didn't do well.
It didn't do well,
Mm-mm.
but it got nominated for Best Picture. So
Lost.
yeah, should have won probably. It also should have won its director his first Best Director Oscar, but we had to wait another 16 years for that. Goodfellas, which a lot of people that are fans of Martin Scorsese would say is his best film.
Best film of the 90s. It's
Yeah,
hard to narrow it down to his best film because you almost got to go decade by decade.
yeah. You got Raging Bull, Taxi Driver before that, uh, Goodfellas for the '90s, Departed for 2000s,
Yeah.
and now
Irishman.
Irishman. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. All well, no, it's two De Niro films and then two. Yeah, it kind of transitions over. De Niro's in four of them,
Yeah.
but
But this is one of those movies that if it's on, I have to watch it. No matter where it's at. It's infinitely quotable and rewatchable.
yeah.
Maybe it's because I saw this first, but this is the quintessential Italian gangster movie for me over The Godfather,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't see Godfather until years later.
I
But
saw
when
them
I think
pretty close
Italian
together.
gangsters, I think of this movie.
Yeah, I can't remember which one we saw first because I came to your house to see Goodfellas, but there
Right.
was I saw it early in our freshman year, so I can't remember which one I saw first. But they're both good, just in different ways. I like Goodfellas much better, just
Right.
because it's a better film. So,
I agree.
uh, but it has a different flair to it. Godfather is more like respectful, and I think a lot of people hadn't seen, the capo intervention. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Uh, they didn't know what the family was like, so you get stuff like Michael going back to Italy, and so you get the
Very
ancestry of the
romanticized.
mafia. Yeah, it's romanticized. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
But Goodfellas is just straightforward. Like, this is what it's like when you get sucked up into the machine of the mafia. And sometimes you want to be there for sure, and you love it, and you're definitely meant to be here. And sometimes you don't really want to stick around because you
Right.
know you're going to die if you do. And that's Ray Liotta's signature role. So I think everyone wanted to be like a Henry Hill because they wanted to be a robber, but then be a good guy. So I think you can relate.
Always wanted to be a gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I loved Goodfellas. I've actually never seen The Godfather
Really?
at all. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
funny because I went to the same college as Francis Ford Coppola. But
That's okay.
Uh,
Don't tell him that.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a whole other story for another day. But no, I like Goodfellas, and the bonus to Goodfellas was it did inspire the Goodfellas sketch in Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Can't say that for The Godfather.
Yeah.
Godfather never inspired any '90s era cartoon knockoffs.
I thought he was gonna say parodies because I was like, the freshman's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah. Right.
And we already talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
What did you think of Goodfellas, Jimmy?
It was good.
Okay.
We're some
Goodfellas. Goodfellas.
guys.
Goodfellas was my first introduction to the mobster genre, because I moved up from to Jersey from the boonies, and one of my like early high school friend, or he was really a friend of my cousin, and that's how he became my friend. And I think he's either Italian or part Italian.
He's Italian.
But yeah, he was like, "Oh yeah, no, love this movie. We should see it, watch it." I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's a pretty good movie."
Well, that's like your buddy Kyle, Corey. He was like, "You haven't seen Goodfellas?"
He was apoplectic when Tristan told me I hadn't seen Goodfellas. Like, You
How-
shouldn't be studying film.
Yeah, what are you doing in films? And so to him, he's that's my favorite Scorsese film. But Scorsese is my favorite director, so this is one of the highlights for sure.
Sure.
I think it should have won Best Picture. What did Dances with Wolves?
Dances with Wolves,
Yeah,
which
I
is a
think
great
won-
movie. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, might have to watch that soon just to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
In the annals of film
Yeah.
history, I think Goodfellas trumps it.
Yeah, which one's on TNT all the time? We showed both
Yeah,
of
it
them.
might be. It actually might be Dancing with Wolves.
They might both be on. Yeah,
They might both be on there.
yeah,
Listen, if we didn't get Dances with Wolves, we would never have gotten Avatar.
True.
So,
The Postman.
true.
True.
Uh,
They should reboot The Postman.
That's another one we were talking about last month. You should make a better movie of something that didn't quite make it.
yeah, that's where these remakes should come in.
Well, it doesn't make sense. They remake good movies.
I know. I don't know what they're doing.
They want to make more money off of something that they already made money on.
Thank God they never remake Goodfellas. I mean, you're just doing it again when you make another mafia movie, but
Casino's kind of a spiritual successor to it.
You know, when
why did
Scorsese dies, someone's gonna try it.
yeah.
It's gonna be a shitty Netflix sitcom.
Well, they've already done other Rocky Marciano films just because they think they can do it again. It's not necessarily a remake of Raging Bull, but
That was Jake LaMotta.
It's
Jake
gonna become
LaMotta,
a
Oxygen.
multi-camera, laugh track Netflix sitcom.
Yeah.
Am I so funny, Henry? Henry?
Funny, haha, like a clown, and then it's a 10-minute audience clip of just.
He does stand up.
It was like Sheldon turned left or something.
Okay. All right. Well, we all like Goodfellas. I
Yes.
guess. So
Yeah.
why don't you tell us about some of the other movies that came out in September, Corey?
Okay, so Postcards from the Edge came out, which
Yeah.
is based on Carrie Fisher's autobiography about when she was addicted to pills and other substances. Meryl Streep is the surrogate for Carrie Fisher, and Shirley MacLaine is the Debbie Reynolds in the movie.
Hmm.
It's about her trying to get financed to do a movie, but the only way they can do that is if she's under the care of her mother, which is played by Shirley MacLaine.
Makes sense. I get that.
It's a middle brow movie. It's okay. It's not
Let
great.
me ask you this: if you're a fan of Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds, and you've always wanted to see it or read the book, I guess instead you want to watch this movie, is it worth it?
No, yeah, their scenes together are really good.
Because I've been curious, and it's essentially like watching them because Meryl Streep's friends with Carrie Fisher, so she's able to emulate her pretty well. And I'm sure Shirley knew Debbie.
Right,
Yeah.
and I've heard in interviews they both said like, actually, our relationship's nothing like that. We get along great.
Oh, that's funny.
So
Okay.
we made it more contentious for the movie and the book.
Oh, okay.
There was a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie that came out this month called Death Warrant.
Oh, I know that one. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a
I don't know. It sounds familiar. That's why I'm like,
Yeah, which one is this?
it's pretty abysmal. He plays a cop who goes undercover in jail to find a serial killer.
Oh, I've never seen this. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I've seen scenes, so I do. know-
Interestingly enough, written by David Goyer.
Oh, who's not that great, is he? Right?
No,
Just by
everybody likes to associate him with the good stuff that he did, like Batman Begins, Dark Knight, but
Yeah.
and Blade. But he
Correct.
also did some things that were pretty big misfires
Yeah.
as a writer.
Well, I think with the Batman movies, like he had Christopher Nolan probably like giving him
Right.
notes.
And the other thing with that is you always have like a writer's room, and he just wrote the majority of the script, so he gets the credit. You know?
Sure.
So it's kind of an agreement with the Writers Guild, you know.
Yeah. Hardware came out this month, which is a Richard Stanley movie. It's kind of a early cyberpunk movie. It's actually got Dermot Mulroney in it. The movie's grotesque.
Okay.
I would avoid it at all costs.
Okay.
Leslie Nielsen was in another parody movie this month called Repossessed, which is a parody of The Exorcist, and Linda Blair is actually in it.
I've never heard of this.
That sounds amazing.
It's not. It's horribly unfunny. It's like Spy Hard level, wrongfully accused level comedy. You know when parody movies started dying out, like around the time of Jane Austen's Mafia and stuff like that?
I don't think anyone knows that.
I know that movie.
You actually
I've
know
seen.
that
He
movie?
know he knows that movie.
I saw it
It's
when I
not
was
good.
like, what, 12 or 13? No, 11 or 12.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. A 11 or 12-year-old kid sing Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of funny.
Well, that's why I like Dracula Dead and loving it. I saw it when I was 12. You know, it's not a good movie. I've seen
The
it
worst
since.
Mel Brooks movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of, actually, there was another gangster movie came out, but this is about the Irish mob, State of Grace.
Oh, right.
And this has Sean Penn, Gary Oldman, Ed Harris, Robin Wright. Great cast.
Yeah.
Really good movie. Just kind of got overshadowed, obviously, by this, and Goodfellas came out around the same time. So
It's where Sean Penn and Robin Wright got together.
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, I was looking her up because I was trying to. She has that new movie coming out where she goes off into the wilderness.
Oh,
And
she directed that as well.
Yeah, so I was curious, like, has she ever directed anything? What's her filmography? I hadn't really thought about it. I didn't realize she pretty much broke out. She was in one of the soap operas, then became
Princess
the
Bride.
Princess Bride,
Yeah.
and then State of Grace. She took like 3 years off in between. She didn't do
Oh.
anything in the late 80s. So she might have been back on the soap opera, but I think she just took a break. So I think she has a kid with her first husband. I'm not 100% sure, but
Right.
she ends up with Sean Penn there, I know.
And then Ben Foster years later.
Well, she's not.
This movie. I know we talked about this last week. We were picking a lot of movies that could have been candidates for us to talk about. This movie none of us have seen, but this seemed like the most intriguing one. White Hunter, Black Heart.
Right,
which is
wasn't on
basically
anything either.
Clint Eastwood doing a very veiled biography of John Huston. I think when he was filming African Queen.
That's what we figured. You never actually got to watch this before we recorded, right?
No, I didn't get a chance to, but I'm definitely gonna watch it because I'm really interested in it. I actually heard it's one of the more unsung movies in his catalog, and I heard it's great.
Yeah, we'll have to maybe have an update someday.
Yeah.
If we get to it.
Funny About Love came out this month with Gene Wilder. I haven't seen it. I've only heard terrible things. It's also directed by Leonard Nimoy.
Ooh. Oh, Leonard Nimoy directed Gene Wilder film.
Yeah.
That
It's
sounds
no
good.
3 Men and a Baby.
Well, I didn't have Nancy Travis.
Yeah, that's true.
This is
Being
wild.
thanklessly put in a role.
Yeah.
Narrow Margin, a remake of the 1950s movie, came out this month. Peter Hyams directed this. And it's got Gene Hackman and Ann Archer. It's actually a pretty good remake. I've never seen the original though, so I can't compare. Gene Hackman plays a DA, and he has to protect Ann Archer, who's kind of in the crosshairs of these assassins because she witnessed a murder.
Okay.
But they're on a train. The whole thing takes place on a train,
Mhm.
and it's pretty taut. It's good. And Peter Hyams is a really good journeyman director. We talked about him before.
Yeah, he's very underrated.
Yeah. Pacific Heights, which I believe you guys can shed a little light on because I really want to watch this, but I didn't get a chance to. But
Yeah, it was down between this and King of New York, and we went with King of New York just because we all wanted to watch Walken. We basically were going between Walken and Michael Keaton because he's the star here, and the basic plot is Matthew Modine and Melanie Griffith become renters, landlords, and they fix up an apartment and rent it to a couple of people, including Mako.
really,
yeah,
Yeah.
he's one of
Mako's
the
nice.
he and his wife. I forget the actress there, but then Michael Keaton we see in the first scene is just getting roughed up by a guy, and he ends up running into this apartment, and he kind of stalks them and figures out how to like invade his way into the second apartment. And he doesn't pay them right away, but he kind of tricks them into thinking he's got the money being wired. And then he changes the locks, and then he just ends up terrorizing them from within his apartment.
Yeah,
And you don't know what he's up to.
Yeah, and really his whole scheme is to like because he professionally
He's trying to flip the place, right?
Yeah, where he goes in and like he terrorizes landlords and puts them into situations to where they do things that they shouldn't, because he looks up and studies laws of each state he goes into, so that way as a tenant he has like rights and he can like just basically steal your property.
Yeah.
I gotta say, as this sounds goofy at first, but it sounds engrossing as well.
You know what really sells this movie? It's basically a Joker versus Batman movie, and Joker wins because the main character, the boyfriend of
He's Batman?
No, he played Private Joker in Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, Private Joker, yes.
And then
Michael Keaton as Batman, but he's the villain.
Fair enough.
That's why he got so excited.
Yeah. As soon as I realized that, and like the best part. This is what best part. So like, main guy was Private Joker from Full Metal Jacket. His best friend,
who's warning him against having
Keaton, was 8-Ball from Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, Dorian Harewood.
Oh.
Yeah. You know him.
Yeah.
That's so like there was a little bit of a reunion and kind of a like on the sly like Batman versus Joker.
I wanted more.
That's great.
Wasn't it enough?
I would legitimately wonder if like the creator or the writer or the like somebody up there had to have been like Joker.
Somebody in the movie heavens.
Yeah, this is the next thing Keaton did after Batman. So I think known, but so you liked the movie though, right?
Oh yeah, I liked it.
I am happy we did King of New York, let me just say.
Oh, and then also
I didn't love it as much.
I was really looking forward to him playing a psychopath.
It's fine. I think it's like middle of the road. It's not It's not bad. It's just not as good as I wanted it to be. So it's
speaking of gratuitously violent, I heard that the ending becomes really outlandish.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's fine, but I think you liked it more than me.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Matthew Modine's actually really good. And Melanie
Griffith. It's like a fun premise.
So I think it was worth seeing once, especially if you're a Michael Keaton fan and completist, or a fan of either of those two, because they all give good performances. It's just the logic does get a little outlandish, but that's what happens in some thrillers.
Yeah,
sure. This is the genre of itself.
Yeah, the home invasion genre.
Ridiculous thrillers.
Yeah.
You know, like the 90s are full of these, like, okay, they wouldn't do that. Okay, you got to get out of the house. Come on. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, home invasion was around there. Well, Home Alone is the highest.
Dial Code Santa Claus?
Yeah, right.
So this is a weird last movie to talk about before we get to Poster Boy. There was a sequel to Last Picture Show. Did anybody know that?
No. Well, that's like the Chinatown sequel we had last time.
Yeah, it's called Texasville. And it's all the characters reunite. I think except for Timothy Bottom, I don't think he comes back.
Doesn't he?
But Randy Quaid's in it. Jeff Bridges is back. Sybil Shepherd's back. So, it seems like it's more, and it's also not shot in black and white, so it's colorized. It looks more like a Robert Altman dramedy than anything else, more so than the first movie. I haven't seen it. I want to see it.
Yeah. Well, this is the funny thing. We were supposed to watch it in class, and we skipped that day.
I actually ended up watching Last Picture Show, and I loved it.
So. Right. So isn't it supposed to be Jeff Bridges is trying to get out of town?
Yeah, he leaves and then he comes back.
In the movie.
So this is his homecoming.
Okay, so he does leave by the end of the Last Picture Show, though.
Yes, he leaves, and then this is him coming back to town and meeting all the locals again.
What happened to them?
Yeah, you get to catch up with old characters, old friends.
I am curious about this because I feel like this is something we shouldn't have.
It really isn't, and it got, from what I looked at, it got pretty middling reviews.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because of that. You're supposed to just have in your imagination what he does after he leaves town.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, I thought Last Picture Show had a coda that told you what happened to the characters, kind of like American Graffiti style.
I was about to say it's kind of like American Graffiti. Didn't they say like what's his name dies, the hot shot in the
Yeah.
and then he's back in the sequel of American
Oh,
Graffiti.
more American Graffiti?
Yeah.
Again, didn't see that either yet. But
Yeah. These are unnecessary sequels.
right. So everybody who's complaining about sequels now.
Yeah.
Back then, 2 Jakes and this.
Yeah. Well, it's like movies that definitely don't need them. Like now it's all sequels to comic book movies, which
Right.
Yeah.
And those movies aren't necessarily renowned classics of cinema that get shown in film class. Like Chinatown and Last Picture Show are movies that get shown in film class and are
as
studied,
examples of writing that can never be
right,
undone.
studied and dissected, and they're probably in the AFI, right? I would think
Oh,
top
yeah.
100.
So
So
I think in the top 10.
like if they make a sequel to Pirates of the Caribbean, so
Fine.
what?
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
who cares?
Yeah. I want more pirates, honestly.
Right.
If it's done well. But like it's like making a sequel to Casablanca.
Right.
Or,
And Havana's an unofficial remake. So
yeah. Yeah. So it's weird that people want to make it's the same idea as remaking the good movies. You want more of the same because it did so well. But you
Right.
captured lightning in a bottle. You can't do the 2 Jakes necessarily.
sure.
And make sure it's got the Robert Town screenplay, you know. So
Yeah.
so yeah. You ready, Jeff?
Yeah.
You wanna look at this?
I'm excited about this
a
one.
film I never heard of, so
You never heard of this movie?
It is.
no.
Technically has 2 titles.
Here you go.
Oh my god, that's a great poster.
Ooh.
Ah,
So first off, you want to describe the poster.
All right. So we got a dude with a pump shotgun being chased by what looks like a sentient buzzsaw. Like if you took the Phantom Zone thing from the end of Superman and put blades on the end of it. That's chasing him after a giant explosion.
Oh yeah,
And
that's it.
it looks like Dolph Lundgren.
oh my god.
Hey,
How did you know that?
that was gonna be my second question, so I'm real impressed with that. I did not tell
Just
him
I'm
anything.
like, I don't know. I'm assuming 90s
Wow.
action movie. That's
Oh, I didn't get his name at the bottom. I thought I looked through those credits and I thought I had scrubbed everything. Oh well.
that was not how I figured it out.
That's
Sure.
good
it
though.
was either Dolph Lundgren or Michael Biehn, and that was the first one that I went with.
Yeah, that's funny.
It looks a little too big to be Michael Biehn, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what do you think this is about?
I'm gonna say it's some kind of robot apocalypse movie. With like, is that Khan? I can't even tell. Like the guy that's on the buzzsaw looks like
Yeah.
whoever played Khan in Star Trek.
Oh, Ricardo Montalban?
Yes, but
I can see
it's
that. The way his hair is.
it's gonna be some man versus machine thing. Proto Christine / Terminator.
Do you want a
Kinda.
catchphrase?
Sure, give me a catchphrase.
There you
Give
go.
me- Give me that log line. It's not a close encounter. It's the last.
Sure.
Okay, so they're aliens. Clearly aliens. This is some sort of like almost Transformers where it's just aliens have taken over household devices or something.
Yeah.
And
It's Maximum Overdrive too.
Dolph Lundgren is the only one that can stop them for some reason.
Okay.
Okay.
So now you obviously know it's Dolph Lundgren. What would you call this? You have 2 chances because there are 2 different names for this film.
Yeah, that's right.
At the Mountains of Madness. No. Kill Saw. The Flying
Dutchman.
Dutch.
I don't think we'd ever get the title is actually on the poster. Does not make sense. I guess it does if it is aliens.
Seventh Circle of Hell. I don't.
It's said a few times in the movie.
Okay.
It's almost like a catchphrase in the movie.
That makes sense. But the other one I like better. The one that was
I hate that. I hate that other one.
Well, it was a TV show in the
Exactly. Yeah.
2000s. So it makes sense. Is this about aliens? That's the thing.
Yes.
Okay. Why don't I give you the title and then
Let's
Corey can tell us
figure this out.
what it's about.
All right, I give up.
Let's do one last chance to guess. Yeah.
All right.
It's something that's casually said in dialogue several times.
This ain't natural. That was my guess.
Here, I'll put you out of your misery.
Okay.
Oh.
I come in peace.
Yep.
I don't know why the I is in quotes.
Probably because it's said throughout the movie. It's probably meant to be around the I in peace, but then because of the poster, it just shrinks.
Yeah, that's odd.
They didn't know what they were
Okay.
doing here.
I come in peace.
Yeah.
Peace
So what-
is more like. That should have been it.
So what do you think this, or what is this actually about, Corey?
Okay, so an alien, a malevolent alien, lands on Earth, and he starts getting people addicted to a intergalactic drug, and he uses that to inject himself with endorphins. Basically, it's almost like a drug war movie, only the kingpin of the drugs is an alien. And it's also another buddy action comedy because it's Dolph Lundgren and he's teamed up with Brian Benben from Dream On.
I have no idea.
Does anybody remember Dream On from HBO?
No.
It was like what? It was almost like a Cinemax show on HBO. He was almost like Walter Mitty, but he was always daydreaming about making love to beautiful women.
Yeah, I didn't
yeah.
have HBO until I moved in with Jimmy, so
It's one of the few big screen roles he had.
Okay.
But it's actually directed by Craig R. Baxley, who's done actually all three of his movies are pretty much really good guilty pleasures because he did this, he did Action Jackson, and he did Stone Cold, which is a biker movie. I don't know if anybody knows it, but Brian Bosworth, the football player.
Is that where Steve Austin got his nickname?
Yeah, maybe. It's actually with Brian Bosworth, the football player, the Boz.
Yeah.
But it's a fun movie, and the alternate title is terrible.
Do you want to have one last chance at a title, Jeff? Now that you know it.
I got nothing.
Okay.
So the alternate title is Dark Angel, which makes no sense in the context of the movie.
Well, they're aliens. He's coming down and ruining.
I mean, if that movie came out today and you had the guy from History Channel's Ancient Aliens with the aliens, somebody could be like, oh yeah, no, people are reinterpreting angel or interpreting aliens as angels. So
However, thank God that they kept the original title because it has one of the best last lines of any movie. The alien goes, "I come in peace," and Dolph Lundgren says, "And you leave in pieces," and then he shoots.
Perfect.
That's classic.
It's great.
That's wonderful. Well, cool. I guess we'll wrap this all up with our picks of the month, and it's a pretty easy one. But I do have a fun bit of trivia right before we go. Filming for King of New York obviously took place in the Plaza Hotel, but in order to secure filming at the Plaza Hotel, Donald Trump, who owned it, gave permission only because he wanted to get a picture of Christopher Walken with his then wife, Ivana. So that was the only way they got the Plaza Hotel. So in light of that, let's go with our favorite Donald Trump movies, right? Because he just got
Home Alone 2.
kicked out of office 3 days ago, right? Right? That went well, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're all recording this from our bunkers.
Yeah, I mean it's January 3rd right now in real life, but this is coming out on January 22nd. So hopefully we're still hopefully this gets posted. But for real, I was just gonna ask you what your favorite Christopher Walken movie was.
Ooh. Country Bears is up there.
Yeah. The one where he's cat and Puss in Boots. Yeah.
Ooh, this is tough.
I looked this up. Man.
Easy for me, but I also
Deer Hunter.
Deer Hunter?
Deer Hunter. I know what yours is going to be. I guarantee I know it.
Yeah, go ahead. Guess what it is.
It's Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Two mice. No,
They fall into a bucket of cream. They move the legs. That one mouse, he didn't give up. He never gave up. And he came out in a bucket of cream.
It's that speech. That's what.
Yeah, that's a great speech.
Listen, it's his.
Your mother, she left me.
It's him and DiCaprio because they have wonderful scenes together.
Yeah.
It's what convinced me DiCaprio was a good actor.
Even if I knew where my son was, I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's so good.
Anybody big fan of Mouse Hunt?
I don't know what's my favorite.
Mouse Hunt. I did like Mouse Hunt. I forgot about that. Forgot he was in that. I was just gonna say the feature-length loop of Fatboy Slim's Weapon of Choice.
Probably the best music video.
I guess
You
the
know what?
runner-up would
I'm
be.
gonna go with Ants.
Ants is really good. Nothing wrong with that.
There's
That's a good
lot.
choice. We're allowed to do voice acting.
Jeff picks a lot of animated movies for his favorite movie. He picked Chicken Run last week for Mel Gibson.
Yep.
I guess True Romance would be up there too,
What do you
and
think?
Pulp Fiction.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Hey, Seven
I also
Psychopaths.
would throw out Pulp Fiction because like it's the first thing that comes to mind, but I know there's other movies with a minute that I like.
He's the best part of Pulp Fiction, in my opinion. That
Yeah.
scene is probably the best cameo.
Yeah.
He kept it up
Yeah.
his ass.
Well, another good cameo would be also Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, he's good. in
Ooh.
Sleepy.
Yes. Sleepy
Yeah, that's
Hollow.
an underrated film. I didn't like
That's-
it when it first came out, but the
I
more
love
think
it.
about yeah, I can't wait to
Yeah.
get to that at the end of this podcast.
I guess then Batman Returns is up there too.
Sure. Yeah, I didn't want to go with.
Although
the
he's my least favorite part in the movie.
really.
He's useless.
I don't think there's a bad part of the movie. I love it. So that was the first thing I saw him in.
No, really.
Well, you know,
Oh, there's too many yet because I want to say the Dead Zone too.
that was the second thing I saw him in. He's really good in the Dead Zone. I'd say that if not for Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah,
And of course, he's great in the Bond movie he's in.
he's the best part of that movie actually.
That movie's not that good.
Yeah,
But he
he's
is.
the only worthwhile part. Him and Grace Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we got one each, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully the country is still here, so we can do a podcast next month. But hopefully you've enjoyed our review of King of New York, and remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Try to comment at the bottom of the YouTube video or on our Spotify or iTunes links and such. We'd appreciate it. So we'll catch you next time.